Hey.
Sorry we've been gone for so long. Life's just been kind of crazy. I've also been sick. But that's no excuse, but I'm human, so I make mistakes.
And excuses.
But, Cole got something that he wanted to share. So.
You know what it's about? You can title it.
We're
talking to you today about the Rhema Word. A Rhema in Greek, so it's a Greek word. Just to preface, I'm in charge of this video, so it's going to be a little wonky. So
let me just say this. This is something our church has told us to do, is to get a Rhema Word. And so Cole, what?
I didn't say nothing.
And so Cole was last week, maybe was he was in the bathroom, cleaning. And he was like, our Rhema Word is, and he said it. Can I say it?
I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I got to.
Okay. And I was like, that really is our Rhema Word. So
in Greek, I'm going to read what it says here. In Greek, the word Rhema means an utterance. Some people say, oh man, it's just a screenshot. Other people say it's like a divinely inspired word that you get from reading the Bible, or like if you're watching somebody speak or listening to them, then it'll hit home with you. So the Rhema Word speaks to a believer. It is, like I said, received while reading or about something that applies to a current situation or need.
Also, really quick, our church tells us when we're going through a battle or something, speak this and speak it over the situation, or speak it to yourself, and because sometimes when you're going through something, you're when you're in a battle, sometimes you can't be you can't quote a whole chapter of the Bible, or you're and sometimes when you're in a battle, you're I know this is in the Bible, but in this moment,
when you're in the trenches, you don't have time to think. You got to have that ready on hand.
Yeah, and so this is something that
And I don't know about you, but I don't have the brain capacity to recite the whole book of James.
And so this is something where you can just be Satan, you have no point because, and then you can just speak this word over and over, or the phrase just over and over and over. And I can't tell you the amount of times that I have said this to Cole, he's in the middle, or we're in the middle of something, and I say our Rhema Word. Well, ours is more of a phrase. Or I'll be in the middle of something and Cole will say to me, and I'm okay.
So I'm going to read the whole, it's 2 verses, but then we take a phrase out of it. But it's my favorite book, it's James. And it's James 1, 2, and 3 is the verses. It says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience."
I read that the other day at work.
For us, it's count it all joy, or we'll ask each other, where's the joy?
Yeah, or I'll say find the joy.
Yeah, and for me, it's because I consider myself a realist for a long time. That was my excuse for seeing the world the way I did. I was just a very negative person, and so I think that's a way that the devil tries to get me down. And it's oh man, this sucks. Oh man, this could be so much better.
Just 10 seconds ago in the middle of our kitchen, he was literally down the trenches, and he was being all sad. I was what's wrong? And then I literally was what did I said? Find the joy or something. I was fine, oh my gosh.
Yep, but it helps me be more positive, because if you can find one thing that brings you joy in whatever you're doing, then it's worth it.
Yeah. Last spring, I think it was last spring, we were I think we talked about this one time in a video, but if you don't watch that video, then you don't know. We were pulling yucca plants, which if you don't know what they are, out of the ground, and he was and then these plants are so resilient, if you don't get the full thing, they'll start sprouting more. And so in our backyard,
we got 99% of one of the plants, and there's already 6 new sprouts out.
Yeah, trying to sprout.
After the freeze that we've had.
Yeah, and so he was complaining, and he was oh, I hate this. And I was find the joy, where's the joy? And I made him stop what he was doing, and he was and I was no, find the joy, tell me where it is. And he was we're getting rid of these hideous plants, Elizabeth.
I ain't gonna say it's easy, because there was one time I spent 10 minutes just waiting to find something so I could continue. But
yeah, And so, like, I was like, where's the joy? And sometimes I just speak it. I'm like, where's the joy? Find the joy, Elizabeth. And then there's sometimes where I'm like, find the joy. And I have to think about it because I'm like, I don't think there's joy in this situation. And so, and then, like, after all of that, we took a photo, like, before when we first bought the house. We took a photo in the middle of the process and, like, after it was done. So when we bought the house, like, there was this, like, old like water thing with like bath. Yeah, like a bird bath, and there was like lights and like just a bunch of different things and these boulders. Like that's all you can describe these suckers. Boulders.
I'll get fancy and I'll put pictures on here.
And I was like, what? And so like we took a photo before. We took a photo like in the middle of the yucca plants, like pulling them out, and then we took a photo after every yucca plant was out. And I was like, this is hideous. It was just like this.
It was just dirt.
Dirt everywhere. And it was like we were trying to even it out. And we were out there with rakes, just making it even. And we were asking like this dude, they're like, what should we do? And he was like, plant some seeds, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, we have a dog that's kind of, she puts crack in crackhead. And speaking of her, here she is.
Hi, Bean.
And I was like, okay. And then like, season came, season went, and we did not plant anything. And then by that summer, we had this beautiful patch of grass. There was no like patches of no grass, and it's beautiful. And we sent it to him, and he was like, "What'd you use?" And we were like, "We let nature take care of it because we completely forgot to plant some seeds."
I said, I let go and I let God.
And
I didn't have nothing to do with that.
And it's now beautiful, and I'm like, that was the joy. Like while we were in the season, like we were not thinking like, we're going to have this beautiful patch of grass. Because I literally was like, we're never going to have grass here. This is hideous. It's going to be awful. And then bam, like summer came and we were swimming. And I was like standing up in our little area of the pool. And I was like,
that looks really good.
We have a patch of grass. Like we have grass. And it was so funny because I was like, only we're ever going to know about this. And of course, like we sent it to our parents. We were like, look at this. And they were like, we were like before, after, in the middle, like sending it. And they were like, wow, like that's amazing. And our neighbor over here, her mom who comes over, like her parents who come over every now and then, they're like, who did their backyard? And she was like, they did. They were out there like, no. They were out there raking it like at 6 a.m. They were doing all this work because we had an end goal in mind.
Hush. Quit being a baby.
And they were like, it looks so amazing. So much better. 1 second. Chuck Taylor. So much better than like anybody could have ever imagined. And I'm like, that's a huge compliment because when we were in the middle, we were not thinking like anybody's ever going to see this. Like, and then people were complimenting it and they were like, y'all did so good. And I'm like,
we just did it to get rid of them stupid plants. Okay, I apologize if you like the plants because there are some people out there that like the plants, and I ain't gonna say no more about it. But we don't like them, so we got rid of them.
He planted 4 of them.
No, there was more. There was like 6 of them. There was 4 big ones.
Yeah, and I will say this. Sorry, really funny story. When we first got here, like our house is being remodeled, and I was like, you know what? The house is being beautified on the inside. I'll beautify the outside. And I'm out there with like, we bought this really fancy tool that was like shred them, and they were like, yeah, just like trim them down, and then like you'll get them small enough that you can just rip them out. And I'm shredding them down, and Cole's cooking on our grill. And all of a sudden I hear like this weird like noise. And I'm like looking down and I'm like, is this tool making a weird sound? Like I've overworked it. And I turn it off. And I still hear the sound. And I look down and there's a snake. And I chuck the thing and I'm like, there's a snake. And I take off running. They were menaces. Like they're very deadly for your pets if they get like the juice inside of them that yucca plants carry. And also apparently snakes hide in them and other animals. So, I mean, if you like them, that's your choice, but
all of this to say, find your Rhema word, because when you're in the middle of it, you don't have time. Well, I know sometimes I don't have time to flip through the book and find what God's saying to me for that moment. But usually, what we say, what we speak over us, find the joy where. Is that it helps the situation.